Hey everybody, this is Mr. Burrell, and this is the video for the week of May 11th through May 15th, NTI. So, our focus for this week, we have already completed, ideally, the Dear Reader letter. So, the focus of this week is to create the first of the three elements for the multi-genre project. Because remember, the bulk of the project is to create three pieces. I'm not saying writing pieces. I'm actually being very deliberate in not saying writing pieces because they don't necessarily have to be written pieces, written elements. If you looked at my multi-genre project example, uh, then you'll notice that my pieces are not purely written, but that the multi-genre project has to be three pieces that all kind of revolve around or in some way, shape, or form reflect the theme that you came up with when you were writing your Dear Reader letter. Before I move on, even to the to-do list, I do want to address that there are still quite a few of you, a sizable number of folks, that need to get their Dear Reader letters turned into me. And the reason for that is because, the reason why I'm outlining that versus, weeks past where I haven't really mentioned the number of people that have turned in an assignment, the reason why I'm specifically zoning in on people turning in the Dear Reader letter is because if you all don't have that down, in terms of you don't have your theme statement solid, and you can't talk about what your project's going to be about, you're going to struggle to write or create your three pieces. And so you really have to kind of start there with the Dear Reader letter, even if it's very vague in terms of talking about the project, because I understand that some of you probably don't know what the three elements are going to be. So how can you talk about them in the Dear Reader letter? I get it. We can always go back and revise the letter, but it needs to be done at least to the point where you have your theme statement created for your project and that you can actually work on the pieces with the theme statement in mind. So what you need to do for this week is you need to review the list of element options that's in the multi-genre project document. By the time you are watching this video, the multi-genre project document is going to be moved back to the top of the stream in Google Classroom, so it's very easy for you to check out. You need to create at least one element that supports your theme statement, and you need to upload it to Google Classroom by May 15th, 11:59 p.m. And we really need to be solid on that aspect of things. Get things to me by that time, get them to me earlier than that time, particularly if you have questions, or get your questions to me prior to that time so that I have enough time to look at them and acknowledge them and address them, so that then you're not rushing to work on your stuff. Okay. Moving on from that, I just want to show you this because this week is really just knocking out that element, and I can't give you too much in the way of instruction. I can only give you advice and some guidance because every one of you will probably be creating a different element. It's very possible that I can get 30 different examples or 30 different types of pieces for this first element, just because you all will have like different ways you want to go with this. You all will have different themes that you're approaching. But the least I can do is I can put this checklist in front of you so that you can at least like kind of do like some reflection and know like, hey, am I on the right track with this project? The first thing is you need to have a theme statement created and explained in terms of why you chose it or why it was important to you in your Dear Reader letter, which presupposes, meaning it assumes, that you already have your Dear Reader letter drafted to some extent. The second thing you need to check is that you have created a clear theme statement that you're passionate about. Don't just throw together something like courage leads to heroism and try to make a multi-genre project based on that. If you don't care or if you are bored by that theme or if you don't think you can really invest yourself in that, multi-genre project should be about you. Why did I make mine about video games or about gaming in general? Because it's not just video games. Because I like gaming. Because I'm a big old nerd. That's why. And because it was easy to invest myself into creating pieces about that because they mattered to me. Your next thought that you want to check and see that, you know, it resonates with your line of thinking is I have reviewed the options of the elements, which I'll show you where you can find that one more time. I've reviewed the options of elements and picked 3 elements that I will create. Now, again, for this week, you just need to create one element, but you might as well go ahead and figure out which 3 you want to do. And some of you already did that. Some of you in your Dear Reader letters, like you went ahead and you lined that out for me. And that was awesome. Like those of you that did that were ahead of the curve. The last thing is you need to start working on the first element and have someone look over it before you submit it. If you want to like just check your thinking with me, I'm okay with that. Try to do it early. Don't give it to me on Friday afternoon and ask me if it's okay before you submit it. You might as well just submit it and just, cross your fingers. But early on, hopefully you're working on this as soon as you can. Just like check your work against someone that you know that's in the class. If you know another sophomore at Moore, they're all doing this week. So check with them, check with somebody, and just have them look over your work, and like you can do the same for them, if you're willing. But you should try your best to go through this process before giving me that first element for me to like look at like in terms of evaluating it. So for those that aren't too clear on it, this is the multi-genre project, like kind of like assignment document. This is like where it sort of details what the project is. This is also where it gives you a list of elements that you can do, a list of elements that you can create, both written and visual. And there are these, this is not an exhaustive list, meaning this is not the only things, these are not the only things that you can do for the multi-genre project. If it is something that can be read, listened to, watched, seen, observed in any kind of way, it can be submitted for an element in a multi-genre project. This is just a large list of things that can be done for it. Any of the things that we were doing for the Universal Idea Weeks, recipe, 6-word story, newscast, those are examples of elements that can be done for the multi-genre project. Things that we wrote in class are examples of it. So on and so forth. Be creative. But you have this list of things that you can do. If anyone wants any clarification or further explanation on one of these things, you can always contact me and ask. And I can give you some examples, or I can just give you like just like a brief explanation on what it is. But there's your list of element options that you can look at, and where you can find that, I'll just pull up one of my Google Classroom classes. It's right here under multi-genre project assignment, which I've bumped this up in the stream, so everyone should be able to see this like pretty high up in the stream. The post where this video is will be right above it, but yeah, I bumped this up at, you see, 12:48, like today. Like I'm up late making this video. So with that being said, please spend your time thinking about what you want your elements to be, all three of them, not just the first one, and then actually put some effort into creating that first one. It starts with having a good theme statement. And some of you, with your letters, like, you kind of veered a little bit from actually coming up with a theme statement and really just did a topic. So if you said like, I'm going to do my project on soccer, or I'm going to do my project on video games, and you just said that you're just going to do it like on a topic, you need to transform it a little bit, and you need to actually come up with a theme. Like with mine here, I'll kind of move on to my next thing that I was going to do. My theme, if my topic was gaming, then my theme was gaming is more than just the act of playing a game. It's what you get from the experience. So the topic can be very general. Your theme is going to be a very specific focus on the topic. So you want to move towards something like that. And then the next question you want to ask once you have your theme, and when you're trying to pick your three elements, is how do you show this? How do you show this? For me, when I was trying to consider this question, I was like, okay, if I have to pick three elements, then I should pick three different ways that gaming is more than just the act of playing a game. I should pick 3 different ways that gaming can be an experience, like something that you can actually like pull something from. And so when I did that, I came up with recreation, connection, and competition. Recreation meaning having fun or being able to relax. Connection meaning, you know, like coming closer to those that matter to me, friends, family, etc. And competition, in other words, bettering myself and being the best, superior at something. And so those are the 3 things that I get from the experience of gaming. And I can, like, I thought, like, okay, if now that I have 3 things that I actually get from the experience, I can show each of those 3 things using an element. So, once I divided it up that way, I was like, recreation's going to get an element, connection's going to get an element, competition is going to get an element. And after I did that, okay, I have that. I decided that's when I started thinking, okay, how am I going to write about the recreational aspect of gaming, and or how am I going to create something that shows the recreational aspect of gaming? Like, what's something that I could do that would show that the best? What's something that I could do that would show the competition aspect of gaming the best? That also connects back to my theme of gaming is more than just the act of playing a game, you know? So it starts filtering down. You can start with a topic. Some of you are here and you need to get to here. Some of you are already here. And so then the next question you need to ask yourself is, how do I show this using my 3 elements? And then that's where you do something similar to what I did with my project, where I had to, like, how do I break down my theme statement? Are there 3 categories that I can break my theme statement down that each can have their own element? Or am I just going to have 3 elements that just all talk about that one theme statement in different ways? Maybe one that shows it visually, one that shows it in writing, like in nonfiction, and one that shows it writing in like a fictional creative way. You know, again, it's really up to you how you all approach this. Going back to here, and as you saw in my little, like, just sort of brainstorming document that I just did, like kind of deconstructing my thinking about the project, it starts with the theme. It's then understated, or it's underlined, like, I really do care about this topic. I really do care about this theme. This theme matters to me, and I can actually do something with it. And then once you're there and once you're good with your theme, you start thinking about the elements you're going to create. And then, like, how those elements are going to show your stuff. Because once I got to here, once I got to this question, I started asking myself, like I said, what was the best way that I could show recreation, having fun, or being able to relax? Well, I can map out all the different ways uh, that gaming is like fun or like helps me relax. And once I did that, when I actually like said the words to myself, map out, well, like showing a controller layout. And then that's why I organized it like a little like infographic, like controller or control layout. And this is like all like the recreation aspect of gaming for me. When I was trying to think about like competition and I was trying to think about like an element that would show competition, I was like, well, what about gaming is like really competitive to me, or like is there anything about gaming that's super competitive to me? And then I thought about Magic the Gathering. It's the most competitive aspect of gaming that I'm involved in. So why not make an element that really reflects that? And then on top of that, why don't I like use that element to talk about competitive gaming, not just reflect competitive gaming, but talk about it too. And then when I wanted to talk about connection, what's something that can talk about like something like really like personal to me, like being closer to friends or family? Well, an element that really lets you like get to that like level of um talking about your connections with people, talking about your relationships with people, are like personal narratives. And so I wrote a personal narrative about reconnecting or like reestablishing a connection with someone close to me and how that was established through gaming. So you have to like ask yourself uh, those questions. How do I show this using my three elements? And then the next question then would be, which three elements help me do this? So that's sort of the strategy, I think. You go from your theme to how do you like show your theme through the elements, like, which in my case it was break the theme down into categories. And then the big question is, which three elements help me do this? And so things that you need to do are look at the element list, think about what types pieces fit your topic theme. So I hope this is helpful. This video has gone on a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Please make sure that you get your first of three elements turned into me by this Friday, 11:59 p.m. If you haven't done your Dear Reader letter, please get that turned in so that I can give you some feedback on your theme if you need it, or on your topic if you need it. Those of you that have turned in, if I haven't said something to you yet, I'm getting there. I did get multiple submissions, so I need to kind of work through those, think through them, and make sure that I'm able to like give everyone proper guidance that needs it. But please, like, make sure that you're keeping up with work, like from now till the end of the school year, because this is all the work that we're doing now. It's all pieces of the summative project. So I hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that it's helped you think a little bit more through the project. And good luck this week, guys. See ya.